I don't care if it's Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, or Teletype. If there's somebody there, I'm going to be where they are. Hey, Nerd Chuck is in the building. What's up, man?
Life is good, man. Thanks for having me. You know how pumped I am I'm doing the show.
My man Taz Daddy!
Yes, sir. I can make millions for other people. I can make millions for
Year in, year out, he not a rookie. He a man of many hats and different skills. Give him any struggle in business and watch he make it build. Hard to believe, and please check the resume. Best-selling author and showcase on Ebony. 2-time Southern Entertainment Award winner.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to the show. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, we have been here a long time. It's a long time coming. I need to know that you are in the building today. Oh yeah. Shout out to everybody following on Instagram, Facebook, right now on YouTube. Shout out to you. Let me know where you're checking in from. What's up? It is Smoke Friday. I want to smoke. Give up the smoke. Ow, I need to smoke. I gotta have that smoke. Ow, ow, ow. Listen, shout out to all the cute chicks with the waist beads who say Grand Rising and sip herbal tea. You are Apollo legends. I am feeling so good. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but I beat COVID. Shout out to my brother Styles Peace. Shout out to Queen Ajua Styles. Thank you to my vegan friends over at Pharmacy for Life. I told Styles P, listen, you know, because we were supposed to meet up. I was like, look, bro, I'm making it to New York. That COVID done got me. He was like, say less, love is love. Next day, big old package comes, man. I'm talking oregano oil, BCD, everything from Pharmacy for Life. Make sure you go to pharmacyforlife.com. They did not pay me for that endorsement, but they gave your boy the medicine. You feel me? So I am feeling real good. Let me tell y'all something. That oil of oregano, you definitely need to dilute that thing. Otherwise, your ass gonna be smelling like a pizza. Jeff Brown's in the building. The iconic Jeff Brown. He said, the incredible shrinking man, how far down are you? 120 pounds to be exact, as of yesterday. Yes, it's a lot less of me to love, but there's a lot more of me to feel. Woo! Out here feeling good. What's going on with the people? I want to have this conversation. If you have not shared this video, I'm going to need you to go ahead and share this video. I'm going to need y'all to go ahead because listen, let me tell y'all something. It is Smoke Friday. This ain't going to be a long show because I got things to do. I got to go to Home Depot and get a couple box cutters. You understand what I'm saying? Just don't ask no questions. It's better that you don't know, right? I need y'all to be Mario. I don't want to know. No, but in all seriousness, man, I'm like 90% back. So I'm feeling really good. I want to have a conversation about the fakeness that is permeating the Black community specifically. Why am I talking about the Black community? Because I'm a part of the Black community. I don't know if you know this or not. Breaking news, according to Jim in the newsroom, I'm Black, right? So I want to have a conversation about the fakeness that we're doing out here. What up to my man Rick James in the building? What's happening? Yo, giving them shout out. Shout out to everybody over there on IG. I see you. What's the haps? Billy Battle. What up to Gene Cadesian? I thought it's Butcher Janae Garrison. What's happening? Shout out. I see you in the building. Doing well, everybody. Thank you so much. Stephanie McKenzie is in here. All right, so let's get to it, right? There's something that has been bothering me. To quote Ike Tina Turner review, some on my mind. Won't somebody please tell me what's going on, right? So I've been doing some thinking, and a lot of times when you have COVID, and I've only had it once, but for me, it caused me to get deep inside of myself. And I started thinking about something, and something that really started to bother me, right? And again, this is no shade. I'm just putting up stats. Okay. See, the math does not care about your feelings, but what I'm about to say, Black people, you're going to have to give me something to counteract what I'm about to say. Now, as a Mason and a noble of the Mystic Shrine, I will tell you that I feel some type of way when it comes to Black people, especially those who Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois would call the talented 10th. These Negroes that have gone out here and gotten their degrees. right? And yes, listen, y'all, but it's going on a shirt. The math don't care about your feelings. I need y'all to point this fakeness out, but I'm about to say this. Listen, in every major city, say what you want. And I know y'all don't have I have a lot to say about Masons and Shriners because y'all don't really know nothing. And shout out to the Eastern Stars. Like, I know y'all don't get it because you're not in that, but in every major city, there's a Shriners hospital. I want y'all to hang on to that point for just a minute, okay? So Motive B, y'all better talk to me. I see y'all out there. I see some traveling men out here. All right. So here's the thing. Why is it that after an entire century, yes, I see my sister out here. What's going on, Adria? After an entire century of the Divine Nine, after an entire century of these Black Greek letter organizations, how come Black people are worse off than what we were 100 years ago? I'm trying to understand. Can somebody explain to me, with all of this so-called Black excellence, why Black people are still worse off than they were 100 years ago? You don't believe me? Don't believe me, just watch.
Oh my God.
Let me break this down. To quote Heath Ledger's Joker from a movie called The Dark Knight, let's turn the clocks back a bit. You do realize that in the 1920s, Black people were the most demanded, stable minority class. Black people had the most skills. Right? It wasn't all about education. There was about 10% of us that were able to pursue what we now qualify as higher education. Right? The talented 10th is supposed to be able to make things better. Somebody in Instagram said, was the Divine Nine supposed to solve these problems? In a word, yes. Because the best of us should be responsible for the rest of us. The Black elite, the Jack and Jill, I don't care what you call them, but they should have solved something in 100 years. If you put a bunch of monkeys in a room for 100 years, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to turn out Tolstoy. Here's what I'm saying. I don't think that they would be able to solve all of Black people's problems, but I do believe that there are some problems that Black people should have been able to solve right now, especially those who claim to be the best of us, the cream of the crop, those who have crossed the so-called burning sands into greatness, into elitism. Where they at, though? Because here's what I don't understand. You mean to tell me there isn't any type of, I don't know, Divine Nine hospital to speak of? Is there no Divine Nine banking system to speak of? Okay, first of all, let's deal with this numb-nutted Negro real quick, because this is very interesting. He says, self-hating guys that act like you and those glasses, straighten yourself out first. You're not acting like a man. Looks like you need special attention. Men don't require that. The other men required such. Let's just roll back the fact, Kevin, you're on my live. And if these glasses don't sit well with you, that's okay. I'll put on the Versace's. Is that better? Does that make you feel better? The reason I wore the white glasses is because they go with the white outfit. I'm wearing a vintage X-Men tee. It kind of all goes together. Getting back to the point, because there are all these people like sneaking off from their cubicles and not really doing anything worth talking about. And then because they cannot have any type of intellectual debate or comeback, they want to try and insult somebody's manhood. And the truth of the matter is, to put it quite frankly, I'll take your bitch. So moving right along, right? Here's the issue. There should have been some type of exponential growth. And I have talked to several people in these Black Greek letter organizations, and I have yet to find one person who can explain to me what has happened in the past century that has become better. So we've established that we were 100 years ago a huge labor class. That's how we made our money, right? The other part of that is when you have a group of individuals who are then guided by certain principles. And there are folks over on Instagram saying, from my deeper understanding at the inception of the Divine Nine, they were designed to be social organizations. Yes, social organizations that were there because are we going to do this? All right, let's do it. A lot of these organizations were started because they could not get into the white ones. And if you knew anything about the Greeks and where the Greeks got their information from, they got them from the Egyptians, from Africans, right? We circumnavigated the globe before anybody. We created math and buildings and a whole bunch of other shit that was dope. We invented the umbrella. We are dope, have been dope. Excellence in its inception is a Black concept. So Black excellence is a redundancy, right? So just like a Black Greek letter organization is redundant because the Greeks got their letters in their alphabet and their written language from us. Right. So, hold on. Just said that right. Thank you, CC Beach Life. They're going back on, right? But here's the thing. When we do not, yes, please read Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. What we do not understand and what we fail to acknowledge, and keep in mind, you're talking to the son of a 3-time Polemark Award-winning Kappa man. You are talking to the nephew of one of the best alpha men I have ever met, my Uncle Jimmy, who not only played with Carlos Santana at Woodstock, but was also on the team that invented the Jumbotron. So let's not act like I have an issue with the sum of its parts. I have an issue with the whole lot, meaning what it means at its actual base. For 100 years, we have looked to these individuals and said, oh, they're doing it. They're making it happen. But what have they made happen? I mean, for real, because as I reach into Dave Anderson's patented magical bag of facts, I keep coming up bupkis, nada, zilch, zero, nothing of significance. I literally had someone in the Divine Nine tell me yesterday, well, Mr. Anderson, I think you're being a little too hard because you have to understand that, we do things like, the Sigmas. The Sigmas have and shout out to all my friends who are Sigmas. The Sigmas have a political action committee. I'm like, oh, you mean that political action committee in Jersey that goes and finances political candidates in order to get political candidates to be a part of a corrupt system that isn't helping them, instead of having a super PAC that can actually lobby and make things happen? Okay, let's continue. Here's what I'm saying. Every community, in order to thrive, needs certain things. Every community needs a source of food. Not a store, but a farm. We ain't got that, right? Every community needs a financial system. There are barely 22 Black-owned banks left. I'm trying here. I'm literally trying here, right? But here's what I understand. If, in fact, you are thriving and your community is suffering, there's something wrong there. It's kind of how like people used to get on Kirk Franklin because it looked like Kirk Franklin was balling out of control, but the family wasn't. Or the New Nation or the One Nation, whatever nation Kirk Franklin was with at that particular time. If the rest of you thrive, the worst of you isn't, it's the problem. It's the same problem I have with these Black pastors. How is it you have a mega church? You have people, walking and can't even afford bus fare to come to your church because they're giving everything they can possibly give to tithe. Alex Robb, my buddy, he says, is Killer Mike's bank open yet? First of all, it's not Killer Mike's bank. Killer Mike is just endorsing that bank. Ooh, I hate it when people disturb me while I'm flowing. So Killer Mike's bank, which I believe is the Greenwood Bank, it's him and a bunch of other celebrities and other folks behind it. Yeah, can't trust it. You want to know why? There is a bunch of other banks like the United Bank of Philadelphia that could use that help. There's a bunch of other banks that are Black owned that could use that. You didn't need to create a Greenwood Bank. We should have stuck with the banks that were already there. Now, let's take this a step further. Let's take it like this. The Qs, the Omega Psi Phi brothers, they are known for being tough. How come there are not Omega Psi Phi security forces or Q-Dog security forces all over the country protecting our people? Why isn't there a service, like what the Guardian Angels used to do in New York in the 80s and 90s, where they would like walk women home, right? We keep talking about how our sisters aren't protected, but I ain't see the Qs come up with some security yet. That's problematic for me, right? How come there are no etiquette courses taught by the Alphas and the Kappas and the AKAs? I am trying to understand, at what point do we not say to ourselves, what have we done in 100 years that does not involve a blood drive, a food drive, an after school program, a book fair or job fair, bikes for kids, fades for grades, and cuts for girls? Yet still, and I've seen the Qs have their national conference, and I've seen women ogled and harassed on the street by Qs. Not all. I'm just saying what I've seen with my own eyes. They tried it with my pregnant wife, and I almost got into a scrap with a bunch of Qs. No beef with the Qs. I have worked for and with some great Omega men. But what I'm saying is, in 100 years, all we have is barking, a few talented people, and atomic dog. If you cannot protect something, you cannot grow something. So protection and security are absolutely paramount. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me where I've gone wrong here, because I'm missing it. Ladies and gentlemen, I contend that I have had some plates for some Zetas that'll make me smack my mama. Yet and still, we have a generation of sisters, not all, but plenty, that still have not learned how to do anything other than burn late in the kitchen. This is problematic, but we all know how to get a BBL. And just recently, I found out that BBL is actually a Brazilian butt lift. This whole time, I thought it was basic bitch lipo. I did not know. I'm trying to understand. Somebody says, come on, man. Have you seen the members of Alpha Phi Alpha, which is why I never align elsewhere with the fruity or the K99 sets? Listen, I am not judging any of that. I am here trying to understand how after 100 years, these talented 10th ass Negroes are still showing their heads. It is amazing how quiet they have been on so many things. They are like the Eternals of the Black cinematic universe. You know how the Eternals were around the whole time and shit was just happening and we didn't see it? And they just act like they couldn't get involved. They couldn't interfere. Oh, but when they were about to put out that reality show about sorority sisters, they came out everywhere. Adria said, basic bitch lipo just took me out. Listen, I'm keeping it a buck out here. I want everyone to do better. And that's not to say that the Eastern Stars or the Masons or the Shriners can't do more, because we can. What I am saying is, I have literally heard people say, hold on, I'm gonna pull up on this, because I really want to make sure that I don't misquote this person, because I really want to make sure I get this right, because I like to, and I'm not going to name who this person was, but I want to make sure I got this. Got this right. Okay, so it's over here in the primary. Okay. Said, this is another one they like to say. We have to start somewhere. Somewhere. It's not a song from West Side Story. There's a place for us. Somewhere a place for us. Peace and quiet and open air. Wait for us somewhere. Somewhere? How about right here? Okay. Can we start right here? I'm not asking for too much. And then it's always these things. So I want to run down everything I said to this person, right? Because they were like, Phi Beta Sigma does have Sigma Pack. I said, yeah, okay, cool. It's not a super PAC, and they do not generate enough money to sway any lobby, and they're based in Jersey. Right? This person says, I think you have to start somewhere. I also believe that although there's always ways to improve and have a larger trajectory in the efforts, there's still change and good things happening with the work we are doing. I know personally the things I've been doing in my office has been life-changing to many student families. I'm like, you can't hide behind starting somewhere when you've been spinning your wheels for a century. Right? Black people have been losing net worth year over year. By 2053, Black folks' net worth is going to be basically zero. Not me and mine. But here's the thing. It's amazing how when I say, yo, let's go party, everybody want to show up. But when I'm like, yo, let's build these business. Yeah, dog, about that. Yeah. See, what had happened was this, that, and the third, right? And I'm like, especially when the solution is very, very simple. And she says, we all do our part, and sometimes it may not be as effective as it should or could be in a large scale, but I see the work we do on a local level and see how as a collective we are helping to change our communities. Our communities are shit, people. I am from the hood, okay? I am proud of it. How many times you start, even in football, they say, false start, which is what this is. This is a century of false starts. How in the world will we ever get ourselves to the next level? Then, because I'm going to be full and transparent here, there are people who will say, well, Mr. Anderson, that sounds all well and good and that's cool and all, but how can you sit up there in your ivory tower and say that? Listen, because when I was a bum, you wasn't listening to me. And now that I'm not a bum, you should listen to me. But you won't. And you'll say, oh, well, this, that, and the third. Listen, and how can you change all of those people all of the time? And I'm like, I don't need to change all of them. I just need to change the 9 people in charge. Because here's the thing. All you have to do, ladies, y'all like this, pressure. Get into it. Come along and apply that pressure. All I got to do is put enough pressure on these folks for them to actually do something. The same way Mace put pressure on Puffy to give him his publishing. Forgive me, but I am still thirsty. If we get the heads of these so-called organizations to make moves, it would be a different type of situation. Okay, now, someone said, well, what about the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Well, let's address the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 has nothing specific and exclusive for Black people in it. As usual, Black people go out and get their asses whipped, and then everybody else benefits from it. Do you know the number one beneficiary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964? White women. Because white women who are out of shape want to be stewardesses, not flight attendants, stewardesses on teeny weedy airlines and Pan Am. Right? The reason that they don't call it Black rights is because this country would have to answer for everything that they did and all the atrocities that they did. So when Japanese Americans got taken from their homes and had their businesses looted and taken away from them and put on internment camps, they had what was called Japanese American rights, and they were given repair. Native Americans who were tragically tortured and killed and basically treated to genocide had Native American or indigenous people's rights. Black people who had to deal with slavery, Jim Crow, sharecropping, redlining, lynching. To this day, lynching is not a federal hate crime, but Asian hate, oh, we got a bill for that right away. In the first 90 days that Joe and Kamala were in office. So please stop talking to me about civil rights when civil rights ain't got nothing to do with you. Martin Luther King, the poster boy for the civil rights movement, told Harry Belafonte in his latter days, I believe I have integrated people to a burning house. When is a legitimate starting point? 1906. Because Black people were thriving. We were being left alone for the most part. The thing of it is, we wanted to sit at white lunch counters. We did. We wanted to sleep at white hotels. We wanted white people to serve us bologna sandwiches at lunch counters or worse. Okay. And so we started singing, we ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. We ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on, keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. How many old Negro spirituals are we gonna sing? The reason that Martin Luther King was okay for a very long time was because he was talking about nonviolent. He was also talking about overcoming. Just hang in there. I have a dream. That's the Martin they didn't mind. But when Martin said, when we go to DC, we're coming to get our check. Martin was going around saying that it's amazing how the same government that is telling us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps is the same government that is giving white people farm and land mass grants. Not only that, they are giving them equipment to work those farms. Not only that, they are allowing them to go and get education so that they can better manage their farms. Not only that, they're giving them tax breaks and tax cuts and government contracts and subsidies. And then they turn around and tell black people, pick yourself up by your own bootstraps. But y'all excited because Rihanna got a baby bump. And every time we get killed, we always forgiving somebody. Right? I'm not even mad at the fact that no matter how much money I amass, I cannot buy an inch of land in Chinatown because the Chinese Americans will not allow me to. But it's amazing how the Chinese Americans, the Korean Americans, the Vietnamese Americans, the Indian Americans, the Nigerian Americans can come into the foundational Black American communities and build businesses where we get denied. However, you know what the number one thing Black people spend their money on as an expense is? Post high school education. Right? So then fast forward to 1968, right after Martin Luther King gets killed. Then they start putting out these things and these grants for specifically Black women. And while that happens, one of their CIA agents gets dispatched by the name of Gloria Steinem. And Gloria Steinem goes out and she gets a Black woman to be her face. And she ghostwrites a book for that Black woman and starts talking about how Black women are women before they are Black. No other race talks about their gender before they talk about their race. When you get killed, they will identify you as the Black woman. They are not going to say the woman who happens to be Black. They're not going to say that she burned her bra. And the reason that this was popular and the reason that this came into fruition was because the government realized that they could make more money if the man got out the house and the woman got into the workforce, because that was the whole thing. Equality, right? You want equality so much, right? And I still hear sisters talking about, well, men make more money than women. Well, let's review. I know, with the exception of Asia Denson in Detroit, Michigan, there are very few Black women contractors. It's so disproportionate. There are very few Black women brick masons. There are very few Black women who are bridge layers. There are even fewer Black women engineers. Oh, what's up, Asia? I didn't even see you there. So here's what I'm trying to understand. Are you willing to do the jobs that are more laborious, that are more physically dangerous? Because, yeah, I'm sorry, a high school guidance counselor is not going to get as much as a brick mason. Those are facts. And I will tell you that I come from a mother who worked on an assembly line, building everything from buses to televisions. So I'm not saying women can't do it, because I am the son of a woman who did it. And then she went on and then she went to Cheney University, and she also went to the University of Pennsylvania, and she got herself a master's in education, and she did exactly what she wanted to do. But most women don't want to do that. You do not want to work hard with your hands. Half of you won't kill a spider if it comes in your house. So please stop with the unfair arguments when you know good and hell well that the real disproportionate position is in corporate America, where Black women are dominant, especially in the C-suite. There are more CEOs, CMOs, CIOs, CFOs, COOs who happen to be Black women. The highest educated group of individuals in this country are Black women. The most stable set of minority-owned businesses in this country are Black women. So if we're going to tell it, then we got to tell it all. And I'm still trying to understand, right? While we're so big on education here with the Divine Nine, because here's the facts. Now, this applies to all Americans. You can look this up. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, out of all people who graduate college, 27% work in the major that they majored in. The other 73% do not. The majority, according to the 2010 census, right, over 300,000 people who have a master's in business administration, or an MBA for short, put down as their occupation that they are bartenders, meaning that they overpaid by about $94,000 because they could have took $6,000 and learned to make a red snapper, kamikaze, Long Island, iced tea, Black Russian, fuzzy navel, and a sex on the beach, margarita, Bloody Mary, slow gin fizz, learn to make it all on the rocks with a twist. All they had to do was call 1-800-BARTEND. And for $6,000, they could have made what they're making with their MBA right now. Last I checked, if you got a 27% on a test, you're failing. So that means 73% of people who have degrees don't do anything with them that they were supposed to do with them. They do something else. But we don't want to talk about that. Then you say that niggas ain't shit. Forgive my language. But we know for a fact that father absence has been on the rise since 1970 because Section 8 told you that you can have they baby faced you. We'll pay your rent. You'll buy your clothes. We'll pay for dinner too. You can't have a man in the house. So if niggas haven't been shit since 1970 and I'm 44, which means that I'm 7 years younger than 1970, which means that for 51 years, we ain't been shit. Who's been raising us to be not shit? Oh, but then that requires some level of accountability on both sides of the aisle. However, also according to the U.S. Census, Black men are the most involved fathers in America. And that's as late as 2018. So I'm trying to understand here. If education was the path to freedom, and I know that was a cute line in Mario Van Peebles' policy, education leads to freedom. Education is freedom. No, education is a one-way ticket to slavery town, population U. Because here's what happens, and this is what they don't tell you in school. And as a college professor, I can tell you straight up and down, this is still happening to this day. Check this out. If, in fact, you're going to school, 80% of individuals who are going to school have student loans.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So if 80% of those individuals have student loans, right, and they're able to get those loans at 17, in some case 16 years old, right, for 10, 20, 50, 100, $200,000 to go to school, but they won't give you a $10,000 microloan to start a business, who's being hustled here? Take your time. Just let me know when you come up with it. Just kind of want to know, because Final Jeopardy is playing for those of you who are watching this on YouTube. If you've not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. I just want to know. No, I'm trying to understand. Is there anybody? Anything? No, I didn't think so. And that's the problem. So if I'm putting a 17-year-old with life-changing, debilitating debt that they won't be able to pay off until they're probably about 45 to 50, you do realize that that debt to income ratio affects your credit, right? And your ability to go out here and produce things. So then if you are working hard at school so that you can get a job, and then you're at that job working hard to pay off school, how are you ever supposed to succeed or thrive? That was the question. How are you supposed to succeed or thrive? Don't worry, I'll wait. But yet and still, y'all want the political monkeys to save you. So Joe Biden just authorized $30 million in grants to set up healthier options for people who have, drug addictions. And that includes safe smoking kits. Now, the government isn't buying the safe smoking kits. No. The government isn't buying them. They're giving the grants to people, and then those organizations can then buy them. That way the government keeps its hands clean. Say, oh, no, we never bought crack pipes for people. No. We just gave people who were going to buy the crack pipes for the people the money. Yet and still, how in the world do we get to where we need to be? Someone asked a good question. White Ghost says, should we stop after high school? Absolutely. Unless you're going to be doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, you should stop. Because the reason that we went to school, yet again, going back 100 years, the reason we went to school was created so that the Industrial Revolution could happen. Because the Industrial Revolution is nothing without people. But how do we get people to come work in our factories? Well, it's real simple. We control their mindset. So if we get them accustomed to us, hear the bells, please silver bells, all of these bells, ding, 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 dong, ding, dong. Wanted to hear words of so here's the point. If there's a bell for you to start school, if there's a bell if you're late, if there's a bell for you to go to lunch, if they tell you to stand in line in size order, then you have no problem working in the factory. And if we can't afford to have the factories here, we'll build the factories in what we call correctional facilities. And then we'll, write a crime bill and get you, a ridiculous sentence for trumped up charges while we privatize the prisons. But, let's not Google the school to prison pipeline. Let's not do that. Let's not talk about how they base how many prisons they're going to build on third grade test scores of young black children. We're not going to do that either. We're also not going to talk about the fact that 33% of black men will be in prison in their lifetime. That's 1 out of 3. I'm just trying to understand. If y'all can dispute those facts, I need you to take it up with Jim Crow Joe Biden, who wrote the crime bill, right? Locked people up for having a crack rock. Would give you 25 years to have a crack rock in your pocket. Now he wants to be the reason that you have the pipe, a clean pipe. Because if a droplet of blood gets on you, then, it's a medical issue. But where was the medical issue when you were trying to fill these privatized prisons, Jim Crow Joe, and you got your homeboy, Bubba Bill Clinton from Arkansas, to sign off on it? And yet, I did not see any Black Greek letter organizations go and lobby against any of that. I didn't see any protests, and I'm so sick of we shall overcome. Do you know how you really protest? You protest by the addition of money or the subtraction of money. No, go back and look. And somebody said, oh, no, not Bubba. Go back and look. They used to call Bill Clinton Bubba. They used to treat him like the dumb cluck from Arkansas he was. He was a blue dog Democrat. He's a Reagan Democrat. Go back and look at the Bill Clinton advertisement. This is Bill Clinton and Al Gore. He's not like those other Democrats. They're really tough on crime. That was their whole thing. Nicole says, what happened to Black Lives Matter? Well, Nicole, I'm so glad that you asked. Let's see what happened to Black Lives Matter. Well, Black Lives Matter, I told you, was a crock. I told you Black Lives Matter was not here for anything other than to take money from black people and do what they need to do.
Shut your bitch ass up.
I cannot stand Black Lives Matter, the organization. Black lives do matter, as a matter of fact. but the organization in and of itself has to respond to the California Department of Justice's request to find out where $60 million of those donations actually went to. Because I remember about a year ago when I was pointing out the fact that one of the founders of Black Lives Matter was buying a house in the Caribbean like she was Billy Ocean, and she was really trying to be the Caribbean queen. Now she's sharing the same dream. Now she stepped down because she got her bag. I also remember pointing out to you on the Black Lives Matter website how they said their real thing was to upend the patriarchy and focus on LGBTQIA issues and putting those types of people in charge. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think sexual orientation has anything to do with why racists hate black people. I don't think who they're fucking is an issue unless you're fucking white women or white men. Then it becomes a problem. But Black Lives Matter has turned out to be big money liars. BML. I'm just trying to understand. That's it. But you got Roland Martin and the rest of the Black Blue Lay out here. And you got Mark Lamont Hill trying to pontificate and talk about how, these are problems and, we need to go after Bill Cosby. I'm like, damn, it's so funny how y'all care about all this stuff, but y'all have yet to go after Matt Lauer. Just trying to understand. But yeah, Black Lives Matter is a joke. We all know it's a joke. It's been a joke. It's going to continue to be a joke. Vanita said, I got to come back and listen. I'm about to wrap it up because I got things to do. Like I said, I got to go to Home Depot, get myself a couple box cutters. Y'all know how I go. Anyway, anyhow. This is a problem. Black people, you cannot look to systems. You cannot look to politics. You cannot look to other organizations, whether they twirl canes, bark, wear pearls, have chucks. I don't give a flying. You have to look to yourself. If we do not have security, if we do not have a means of growing and controlling our own food, if we are not hunting and fishing, if we are not handling our finances, if we're not controlling our fashion, if we're not controlling our music, if we're not controlling our media, if we're not controlling our narrative, you are a slave. So are we done acting fake out here? I really want to know. Are we done with the fakeness? Are we done with the nonsensical BS that continues to permeate throughout our society and culture? If you came through the door as Black Lives Matter and chose to hurt yourself over to the LGBTQ, there's a hell of a lot wrong with that. Well, Jeff Brown said it, so I don't have to. It's a fact. Dave, thank you for continuing to post. I'm always going to post. The thing of it is, when are y'all going to start taking some action? And here comes somebody else. Well, what's the solution? I said what the solution was. We build our own. You don't know you keep looking for black leadership, right? You keep looking for black leadership. You keep voting Democrat 95% of the time, right? So here's the solution. Do what the Chinese Americans do. They build in silence and just take over stuff, right? They forego luxury and they take over stuff. You know what we do? We want to look good right now. We want to ball out right now. We want to fuck bad bitches right now, right? We don't want to put in the hard work. When I was a scrub and everybody was laughing and said I was crazy, when I took a break from stand up and I said I'm done with radio, everybody said I was nuts and I'd be back. Yet and still, I went out here and I the dog. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm heading home right now. No, I'm getting ready to get the valet to pick it up. I wanted to straighten some stuff up here. You need something? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there in less than 20. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, that's all good. That's all good. Ah, it's all gravy. Yeah, I'm on it. No problem. I'm on it. I got a great spirit on that. I'll take care of it as soon as I get out of here. All right. Perfect. All right. See you in a fit. Bye. All right. So look, now we're coming to the end of that, right? So again, business calls. I'm a CEO. I got things to do. So yeah, the Pros and Chucks crowd is super silent, right? On top of that, right? If we're not controlling how we eat, if we're not controlling what we read, if we're not controlling what we do, if everything has to be done by a committee with outsiders looking in and coming in, it's going to be a problem. Thank you for the shout out. So I lost 120 pounds. We're working out here. You know, but back when I was a scrub, y'all was not paying me no attention. To quote Michael Jones, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm out there. Listen, Rita, y'all better talk to him, right? Like, I just need you to understand that you cannot build with everybody watching every single move that you make. Real bad boys move in silence. When I tell you I'm doing something, that's your cue to know I've already done it. But yeah, I'm still waiting on everybody who voted for Kamala and Jim Crow Joe, because y'all have been ridiculously silent and y'all had all the smoke. Oh, and we just wanted to get Kamala close to the White House. Bullshit, because if you want to get Kamala close to the White House, why did she drop out of her presidential bid? She dropped out because she didn't have money from her supporters, because all y'all do is talk. Y'all don't ever ball out. You'll ball out at Stake 48, but you won't ball out politically. But when I said, hey, I'm starting a super PAC and I'm putting my own money into it, y'all looked at me like I was crazy. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So please send this to any one of your Black Greek letter organization people. And please don't hit me with this, because the church people do this to me all the time. Well, Mr. Anderson, at my church, we do this one work and the Black community is still shit. Oh, in my sorority, in my chapter, we do this and the Black community is still shit. Until you're showing me Kappa Farms, until you're showing me Alpha Phi Alpha architecture and construction, until you're showing me Q-Dog security, until you're showing me the Zeta Phi Beta bakeries, I don't want to hear it, because you are looking really stupid and you have not defiled any one of my points. So let's stop with these stupid letters. Let's stop with the stupid, ridiculous chants and sounds, and let's start writing checks. Let's start making moves, and let's start building our community for ourselves and not for white adjacency. My name is Dave Anderson. I am the Mohawk and Real Talk and Living Fully Business Bully, doing what I do, snapping necks, cashing checks. If you don't like it, take it up with your mama, because damn it, it's the best thing going today. Woo! Till next time. Get out of your feelings and into your business. Peace.
I don't care what the fucking venue is. I don't care if it's Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, or Teletype. If there's somebody there, I'm going to be where they are. Guys, Bay, Nerd Chuck is in the building. What's up, man?
Life is good, man. Thanks for having me. You know how pumped I am. I'm doing the show.
My man Taz Daddy.
Yes, sir. To make millions for other people, I can make millions for.
Year in, year out, he not a rookie. He a man of many hats and different skills. Give him any struggle in business and watch he make it build. Hard to believe, and please check the resume. Best-selling author and showcase on Ebony. 2-time Southern Entertainment Award winner.